Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista, here on YouTube, and today is Thursday, October 3rd. So you can see I'm in a different spot. I'm actually in my library. I decided I wanted to try to film in here to see how the lighting was. It's not too bad. We'll see when I start to show things. But this is where the video is going to be today. And I have a bunch to share with you because I decided I wanted to read to you a few Facebook posts that I have saved that give like life advice and just to talk about some things, right? Okay, I have piles of stuff over here, so we're gonna do the Facebook posts last, so I'll set my tablet down there. I did do some stitching. So when I did some stitching the other day, I watched the new series on Netflix called Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. It's fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And you know, that kind of stuff is normally not what I watch, but it was, you felt all the emotions. I loved it. I cannot wait to see season 2 because it's left on a cliffhanger. So there must be a season 2. So obviously I am still working on Primrose Cottage Stitches Halloween Quaker. And if you get their newsletter, they came out with a free pattern today and it is very cute. It is Halloween themed. So here is my progress. So I got all of that done, decided to come down here so I knew where to trim the paper. And I'm in the process of doing, this is a tree right here. So I'm in the process of doing that. But it's looking very, very cute. I love it. I'm trying to get a good angle. I love it so very much. So yeah, that is that. And I am using DMC. I want to say, yeah, it called for all over dyes and nah, I just decided to use DMC. So all DMC. Okay, reading. I have been reading and enjoying reading. Reading is probably, besides cross stitch, is my absolute favorite hobby. So I finished Lisa Jewell's I Found You. Loved this book. It was so good. I'm not going to add it to the library right now, but if I see it at Goodwill or at a used book sale, I will probably pick it up. Highly recommend. Love that. I've read a couple of her books. I like them very much. So I also, I'm reading 2 books right now because one is a book I've read before. I read it as a kid. It is Judy Blume's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I love this book so much more now as an adult only because of my faith and belief in God now. When I read this as a kid, I didn't feel like that. So it's awesome that Margaret at age 12 has such a trust and faith in God. So absolutely love this book, and it's a quick read. So I'm on page 84. So yeah, I've been enjoying that. And then I'm also reading The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark. There's another book that she wrote called The Last Flight, and I haven't read that yet. This took a couple chapters to catch my interest, but I'm glad I kept at it because now, yes, ma'am. Absolutely love it. I have read so much. I read so much yesterday. I am on page 220. I read a whole lot. Yesterday was not a good work day. I worked until 10 p.m. and didn't have dinner until 10:15. So, and wasn't expecting to have to work that late. So when I sat down to have dinner and read this, it was a nice respite. And then I'm off today. So I have been enjoying today being off. And I read a bunch this morning and it's been a nice, peaceful, quiet day. So I did some cleaning, got that done. Okay, so I told you that I got a new library card because I lost mine. And my library has different policies. Like they will email you now when books renew. They will automatically renew up to 5 times if no one has a hold on them. Up until now, I had about 15 books checked out from the library. Up until now, today, every book is renewed that I still have out. And I'm getting through the pile. I only have 1, 2, 4, 5, I have 7 books over there. So I have been reading quite a bit. One book is due tomorrow and I'm going to return it. I'm going to go to the library probably today and return it because that means somebody wants it. So it is Sherry Lapina, What Have You Done? I read another one of her books that she has written. So what I'll do is I'll just request this again from the library. Not a big deal. I knew that I would come upon this at some point probably. Yeah, it's all right. But in other news, other book news, so I belong to a bunch of book groups. One of the book groups I belong to is, I want to say it's called Psychological Thrillers and something. I like it. A lot of members in it. There's like 188,000 members in this group. So a lot of book recommendations. There are also authors in that group because when I did my post about Robin Harding's The Haters, Robin Harding commented and I was like, right? Yeah. So I noticed an author, Caleb Crow. He wrote a book called The Wrong Neighbor. And he has been posting the 1 and 2 star reviews that he gets. And I give him so much credit for poking fun at himself and these reviews because he'll say something like, well, if you need something to fall asleep to, get my book based on Lisa's recommendation or whoever did the 1 star. And he did so many of these. I want to say it was like 2 or 3, but they caught my attention every time. And it made me want to pick up this book and read it. And I got it in the mail yesterday. So, The Wrong Neighbor by Caleb Crow. Now, I did a post last night on the group. And I said, I took a picture of it, of me holding it like this. I was sitting downstairs. I said, something like, today was a no good, very bad day for work. I didn't get done till 10 p.m. and I'm just sitting down, but one of the good things that happened today is I received Caleb Crow's The Wrong Neighbor. He reposted that post on his personal Facebook page for his books. I was floored. And I commented and I'm like, this made my day because it just did. I was just really surprised when he did it. So I'm going to show you the post. I think I saved it. Yeah, I saved it. So I'll show it to you when I show you the Facebook stuff. But after I read Julie Clark's book, I'm going to read this. I'm really curious because believe it or not, bad reviews like I've seen him posting tend to make me want to read a book more than good reviews do. And speaking of that, so before I even say what I'm going to say, everyone's entitled to their opinion, of course. Thank you for your input. That's what I've been saying to people that say stuff that I don't particularly care for. Or an unsolicited opinion. But when I'm in these book groups and I realize that you are there to discuss books, however, I feel like there is so much negativity in our world and that we are subjected to on social media that when I don't like a book or I stop reading a book, I've never posted it in these book groups because for somebody to write a book, it takes great courage and a long time usually. So, and just because I don't like a book doesn't mean it's a bad book. I have said that so many times. So someone posted in the group and I went to click on the post and it said it couldn't find it. So I feel like they deleted it. Someone commented and said, why come on here and say you don't like an author or like a book? Like, let's just have positivity. And somebody commented and said something along the lines of, this is not a positivity only group. We're here to discuss books. And, you know, like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but now I just scroll past the posts that say, I hate this author. I don't know why this book has gotten so much traction or why this book is so popular. And someone commented on that person's post that said positivity only. Someone commented and said, well, I want to know what not to read. Again, just because someone says a book is 5 stars doesn't mean you're going to like it. It doesn't mean you're going to like it. I'll get off my soapbox about that because I am just, there's so much negativity, and I have been a person that up until very, very recently always complained, always bitched, always this. I really tried to err on the side of being positive and trying to focus on positive things because, man, do your thoughts have power. Your thoughts have power. So if you are constantly thinking of negative, crappy things, you are going to attract that in your life. Okay. And speaking of like positive things, so you know I got this journal. This is a gratitude journal that I got off of Amazon. And for the first time in a really long time, I am consistently writing in it. So I've only had it for a few days, but I have written in this every single day. You can see every single day that I have had it. So I have written in this. It's only been 4 days. 1, 2, 3. This is the 5th day. Absolutely love it because here's what the pages say. First of all, there's a quote on each page. But you can put the date and you can color in the hearts according to your mood. And then I am grateful for, list all a bunch of things. Describe something I own that I'm thankful for. And I love that because it makes me stop and think about things I currently own that I love. And yesterday I described my electric blanket. No, that's not what I described. Wait a minute, I'll tell you in a second. Then you can write a daily affirmation. Good things that happened today, and then what did I learn today? What did I learn today is a little bit more difficult, but again, it makes me think. And I already wrote down 3 things that were good that happened today because I thought of them and I didn't want to forget them. But so yesterday, I'll read to you yesterday what I wrote in my journal. So I only colored in 2 hearts for my mood because when I sat down at 10:30 p.m. to write in this page, I was just not very happy at that moment. But like I said, when I got to the end of this and had written down these things, I started to feel better focusing on things I was grateful for. So I wrote, I am grateful for a quiet house, reading, beer. I had a beer last night. I don't drink very much. I think the last time I had a beer was like 2 months ago, but I keep a 6-pack of Angry Orchard in my refrigerator. I had a beer last night. I had half of a beer. Sushi, strength to get through a difficult work day, Mom and Charlize. And then describe something I own that I'm thankful for. I described my Earth Therapeutics neck pillow. My neck and back hurt me so bad yesterday from working from essentially 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., so a 12-hour day, that you can put the neck pillow in the freezer if you want it cool, or you can put it in the microwave. So I put it in the microwave, and man, it's just so wonderful. So I described that because I am thankful for that. I've had that thing for like 10 years, and it still works really good. My daily affirmation was, I can do everything with God's strength. And the affirmation is just something I think of, like, yeah, it's just something you want to do. Okay, and then good things that happened today. Number 1, Charlize got the 911 dispatcher job. So I don't think I've said that on this channel, but Charlize, my sister, who is 19, going to be 20 in February, she has been going through the process for the past couple months of becoming a 911 dispatcher. You know, fielding calls from people who are in distress to police, fire, ambulance, all that stuff. It has been a very long and lengthy process, and she finally got the job offer. She starts at the end of October. We are also very happy and proud for her. And so I wanted to write that down. That was number one thing that happened yesterday, because that was definitely a really, really good thing. Number two, sushi. Bill is out of town until tomorrow. So last night I had dinner on my own. And when he does stuff like that, when he's gone, I will, I usually order sushi, and I did. And it's so good because we have a place in our town that is amazing. So, and you know, reading the Bible, reading books that are, you know, Christian based and all that here recently. In the past, when Bill has gone overnight, I have always been scared or afraid in the house. Every creak and crack I hear, I just don't like being in the house alone. And yesterday it hit me during the day that I have nothing to fear because I have God on my side, right? And I'm not going to get all religious and crazy on this channel, but last night was the first time I think that I've spent by myself in this house overnight that I felt no tension or trepidation or fear or anything. It was great. I was so very thankful to feel like that. Okay, number 3 was I received Caleb Crow's The Wrong Neighbor book. And number 4, day off tomorrow, meaning today. And then what did I learn today? So, you know, yesterday was a bit testy with work. And so I learned 2 things. You attract more bees with honey than vinegar, meaning even in the face of a bad situation, being nice is going to be better than being nasty. And someone saying something mean about you says nothing about you and everything about them. Yeah. But I love this journal so much because it literally takes me no more than 10 minutes to complete the entries. And sometimes it only takes me a few minutes because I can just whip it right out. But this will be very interesting to look back on in a year or whatever. So before I have not done any diamond painting. Before I go through the Facebook post, this is going to be a longer video. I received the Just Cross Stitch Christmas Special Holiday Issue. For the first time ever, this does not say Christmas ornament issue because they have more than Christmas ornaments in here. They have bigger projects, sort of like the Halloween issue is not just ornaments, there's bigger projects. So I flipped through it today and I wanted to show you the ones that caught my eye. So the very first one is, this is by Franny Ritter Designs, and I absolutely love this. These are done on perforated paper, and they attached these to wood blocks that I think you got at Hobby Lobby. Yes, it says Woodpile Fun 2-inch wood cubes from Hobby Lobby. I love that. Okay, so if you look, and then there's also a button, a little gingerbread button. You know me and perforated paper, love it. So I love that these were done on paper. I was very curious, if you look around the edge, I'm like, what is that? They did a whip stitch. I don't really want to do that, but you know what would probably look really good around the edge of that? White beads. So I might do that. I had that little thought. I thought that was a really good thought. Those would stitch up, I would say, fairly quickly, even though they're solidly stitched. Really like that one. Okay. The next one is Winter Village by Sprouting Lupine. I thought this would look fantastic on navy perforated paper. I just love the colors in that. Love it so much. Very simple. Love. The next one is Nordic Yuletide, and this is by Quaternian Creations. People I have never heard of, but that's awesome. So they stitched this on Riviera Aqua Linen. It's gorgeous though. Look at this. The teal is amazing. So I'm tempted. I don't know. I don't think there's teal perforated paper. I could color it though. I love this one so much. Love it. Simple, and it only calls for 2 colors, white and red. That's it. White and red. It's stunning though, right? White on a darker fabric or paper looks amazing. Okay, the next one is by Pickle Barrel Designs, who, if you are familiar with, she has a lot of cute designs. This is Jingle Bells. I just love this one so much. Very, very cute. And then the last one that caught my eye was this stocking by M. Kissa Creations Snowflake Stocking. Now, I thought that I would stitch that on perforated paper because you can cut out the shape of the stocking. Yeah, it could be a Christmas ornament. Love that. You can hardly even see it. It says "Let It Snow." Can you see that? There, that's better. It looks better in person when you're looking at it. But yeah, so if you want to pick that up, or you can get the digital copy online on their website, the Christmas issue. I was surprised to see it in the mailbox, so that was nice. Okay, Facebook posts. So this is going to be reading advice, life advice, marriage advice. When I find a post that I really, really like, I will save it. I have a column under my saved items that are, say, talking points. Okay, so here is my post that I did. Oh no, this is the post that he reposted my post. Wait a minute. So I posted, here's my picture. This was me last night at 10:30. And I said, so today was a no good, very bad day for work, and I am just sitting down to dinner at 10 p.m., but I am very excited to have received Caleb Crow's The Wrong Neighbor in my mailbox. And when he posted this, he reposted it on his author page. He said, I hope I'm part of the solution, not part of the problem. I died. I literally was just like, I can't wait to read this book. What I'm really praying is that I love it. I'm praying that I don't hate it because a lot of people liked it. So let me tell you the premise of the book, because I think we can all sympathize. So on the front, it says they think they found their dream house. Their nightmare has just begun. A psychological thriller with a shocking twist. So here is the premise. After a whirlwind romance, Megan and Nick move into the home of their dreams, a beautiful beach house. They think it's their happily ever after until their neighbors return home from a cruise. Ron and Jackie are loud and obnoxious, playing their home cinema at high volume and shattering the tranquility with their endless building work. To cap it all, they have a kennel with 4 dangerous dogs that bark and howl day and night. They are the living definition of the neighbors from hell. Megan finds out she is pregnant, and what should be a blissful dream for the couple instead becomes a grueling nightmare. As their home turns into a battleground, their relationship starts to crumble under the relentless stress. When Ron and Jackie lay claim to part of Megan and Nick's garden, the young couple know they are in for a fight. But they have no idea what their neighbors really want or how far they will go to get it. Their nightmare has only just begun. Dude, yes. I mean, can you imagine? And it's so funny that I got this because we have a housewarming party to go to next Saturday. And the card that I got them on the front says something like, welcome to your new home. I hope your neighbors aren't twats. I was dead. I was like, I have to get that card. Like, that was so funny, right? You're hoping when you move somewhere that your neighbors aren't just, yeah. Okay, so that was post number 1. Why does it keep doing that? Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Okay. All right. Why isn't it going? Hello? All right. So, wait a minute, just give me a second. Okay, so this is reading advice. Now, this is from Ryan Holiday, who has written 15 books, and he has a YouTube channel called The Daily Stoic, where he talks about meditations from Marcus Aurelius and things like that. I like his channel. I have read some of his books. I really like him. Okay, so here are 18 reading rules that he has written. Number 1, do it all the time. Bring a book with you everywhere. And really, I have been doing that. If my purse was a little bit bigger, I would be putting a book in my purse all the time. But I really do bring a book with me because that has come in handy. He said, I've read at the Grammys and in the moments before going under for a surgery. I have read on planes and beaches, in cars, and in cars while I waited for a tow truck. You take the pockets of time you can get. Yes. I'm sure there are many parents out there that read during their kids' sports practices and things like that. Number 2, physical books only. Well, you know, I love physical books, but I'm not going to begrudge someone having a Kindle because I also have a Kindle and I will get short stories and things on there. So, but like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I do prefer physical books though. He says, number 3, it's not that I have a problem with audiobooks. If it gets you reading, I'm all for it. I just think there's something very special about the physical form. Yes, the smell of a book, the feel of turning the pages, everything. Number 4, hardcover over paperback. That depends because usually paperback is cheaper, but yeah. Number 5, bring a pen with you too. Reading is better if you're taking notes. Obviously, do not write in a library book, but yes, I have underlined, highlighted, tabbed in books that I own. Number 6, he wrote, keep a commonplace book, but I didn't quite understand what he meant by that. I read it a couple times and he has a video on that method and I didn't check it out. So we're just going to go over that one. Number 7, err on the side of age. Classics are classics for a reason. But again, I have plenty of classic books. I've read many of the classics. There's so many books out there. I'm just going to keep reading ones that I haven't read before. Number 8, beat them up. Books are not precious things. As an author, I love it when people hand me a book to sign that has had real miles put on it. When people hand me a pristine book and tell me it's their favorite, I assume they are just flattering me. Maybe. I tend to not beat up books, but if you remember, I got this book, the Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, at the used book sale. I could tell this had never been read because when I opened it up, this kind of cracked. You know how you can crack the spine? This was like pristine. So I got this for $1. Yeah. I will bend back the paperback books for sure. Number 9, in every book you read, try to find your next one in its footnotes or bibliography. This is how you build a knowledge base in a subject. Or it's how you wind up finding an author you really love. I have read every single one of Frida McFadden, Riley Sager, Ruth Ware. There are authors that I have read every single book that they have put out. Number 10, the same goes when you find an author you love, read them all. Yes, I tend to, like Lisa Jewell. I went into Goodreads and added every one of her books that I hadn't read into my to be read or want to read list. That list is insane. I have so many books. I have probably over 100 books in there. Yeah. Number 11, that comment from Sam Bankman-Fried about how every book could be a 900-word blog post is preposterously stupid. Tell us how you really feel, Ryan. The whole point of reading is to really understand something. So if all you're after is the gist, skip books and stick with blog posts. You know, I learn all kinds of things when I read. When you pick up a book, you are taking a journey with that author. You are stepping into another world. I love the things that I pick up and that make me think when I read a book. And in The Lies, that one I'm reading now, the Julie Clark book, it makes me want to question every single person I have a relationship with. Are you trying to because these people are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're like con artists, and it's so manipulative that it's scary. Like, how many people in my life are manipulating situations, right? Okay, number 12, if you see a book you want, just buy it. Don't worry about the price. Reading is not a luxury. It's not something you splurge on. It's a necessity. Even if all you get is one life-changing idea from a book, that's still a pretty good return on investment. Now, I realize that, yes, I agree that you should never begrudge yourself a book, but there are people that really can't afford books. Use your public library. A lot of books are there. Number 13, he says that might sound privileged, but Warren Buffett considers the foundation of his multi-billion-dollar empire to be a book. At 19 years old, he bought a copy of The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. So in the early 1950s, he paid $1.30 for that book, and today Buffett is worth $108 billion. I can't even wrap my brain around that amount of money. Number 14, some people might recoil at categorizing a book that way, but as a lover of literature, I have no problem with it. I myself wouldn't be writing this to you today if I hadn't bought a paperback of Meditations in 2006 for $8.25 on Amazon. That book of philosophy taught me not just about life, but also schooled me in the art of writing and working with and managing people, and gave me the specialty which I now write my own books about. And he is very successful. Number 15, don't just read books, reread books. There's a great line the Stoics loved, that we never step in the same river twice. The books don't change, but you do. Again, there's only a handful of books I have read more than once. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I didn't remember any of that book because I read it, I'm 50, so I probably read it 40 years ago. But the only other book that I can recall reading again, and I think I've read it almost 3 times, was The Ghostwriter by John Harwood. I love that book so much because it's ghost stories within a story. If you have not read that book, I highly recommend it. That book, so there's a little story with that book. The first time I read that book, I lived in Hagerstown in a 3rd floor apartment. This house had been converted into 3 apartments. I had the top floor. So I lived with a guy then. So we had a little deck that I would sit out on and read sometimes. This particular day, though, I was in the apartment by myself reading. I had a drink and I had ice in the cup. And you know how when ice starts to melt, it will drop in the glass? I was so engrossed in this book and just, I don't even know if I want to say scared. The ice melted and the ice clinked because it dropped. The book flew out of my hands. Yep. Yes. So that's a good book, right? Yeah. Okay, number 16. As I said, speed reading is a scam. You just have to spend a lot of time reading. I feel like I'm a fast reader, but I don't speed read. Like, I'm reading it. I can finish a book in 2 days if I really, really, really love it. But yeah, I spent the great majority of last Saturday reading. I would say I probably read for easily 5 or 6 hours in the course of the day and read 200 pages in that time. I don't know if, it's not a race though. It's not a race. Number 17, if a book sucks, stop reading it. The best readers actually quit a lot of books. Life is too short to read books you don't enjoy reading. I agree. I agree. And number 18, now I like this and I'm going to probably impart this. The rule I like is 100 pages minus your age. Say you're 30 years old. If a book hasn't captivated you by page 70, stop reading it. So as you age, you have less time to endure crap. So as of right now, if a book doesn't grab me by page 50, bye-bye. Bye. Yeah. So do that little rule. Okay. Oh God, I just realized someone commented and said, I despise this list. It's terrible advice. Oh. Okay, well, I'm guessing he had to realize that he would get some flack, especially about the physical books only part. But again, we are all entitled to our opinion. As I would say to that person, thank you for your input. Okay. I thought that was a good little list though. All right. So this was a post that it had music attached to it. It says, it's time. This is your sign to forgive yourself. Yeah. I think everybody has had things that they have done that they regret. I try to go forward and not have regrets, but yeah, if you've lived any length of time, you're bound to have some, right? So here is something to remember. I owe myself an apology for all the times I promised to forgive myself only to bring it up again later. For clipping the wings of my own dreams before they ever had a chance to take flight. For thinking so little of myself at the very moments I should have been standing up for myself. For the lies I swallowed while starving for truth. For believing that all the glass I walked on as a child was ever my fault. For withholding the same grace and second chances I so freely give others. For allowing the world to convince me that my heart was both too much and not enough. For all the days wasted pretending to be someone you would accept. For not living life more on my own terms simply because I was afraid of making a mistake. For punishing myself for far too long. For believing love was bloody and painful and that I didn't deserve better. For every time I looked in the mirror and hated who I saw. I could sit here listing every reason and why I was wronged. Oh, every reason and way I was wronged by others. But maybe more than anything, I owe myself an apology for not valuing this one beautifully precious life of mine enough to know I'm worthy of greatness, the very best of everything. And for that, I am sorry. And that's by J. Raymond, the initial J and then Raymond. I loved that. Absolutely loved that. Yeah. And my dad and I were just talking this morning. He's 68. I think he's going to be, yes, 68. And I said, I forget how this came up, but I said to him, you know, as I hit 50 and as I get older, I didn't cuss, but I'll say it to you guys, I have less fucks to give. I told him, the way I said it to him was, I just care less what people think, right? Yeah, absolutely. No. No is a complete sentence. If I say I can't do something, I don't need to justify why, right? I mean, so many times I think we over-explain ourselves. Stop doing it. Okay. That was a good one, right? All right, 2 more. Here are some fascinating facts about books that will leave you amazed. Love stuff like this. How many are there? There's 18. What is the significance of 18? There was 18 rules in that last one I did. Okay, number 1. Roosevelt read an average of 1 book per day. Impressive. Harvard University Library has 4 books bound in human skin. What? Okay. Iceland tops the world in per capita book reading. Maybe because it's so cold and there's nothing else to do? 4, people who read books are less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. That's comforting. Neither one of my grandparents read. My grandmother she had dementia, but I'm all for keeping your mind active. Number 5, in Brazilian prisons, reading a book can reduce a prisoner's sentence by 4 days. Wow. Number 6, the most stolen book is the Bible. Really? Really? Okay. Number 7, Victor Hugo's Les Miserables contains a sentence with 823 words. Again, what? Okay. Number 8, Virginia Woolf wrote all her books while standing. How did they know that? How do they know that? That's interesting though, right? Number 9, Leo Tolstoy's wife hand-copied the manuscript of War and Peace 7 times. Why? But okay. Number 10, there are over 20,000 books written about chess. Interesting. Number 11, Noah Webster took 36 years to write his first dictionary. How do you sit down and say, I want to write a dictionary? And how did you do that without the internet? Because now you can look up any word that you don't know the name, the definition of. How do you do that? Number 12, the Mahabharata. Did I say that wrong? The Mahabharata, that's how I'm saying it, is the only book in the world with over 1,200 characters. 1,200 book characters? How do you keep that straight? Oh, how big is that book? Number 13, words like hurry and addiction were invented by Shakespeare. Again, how do they know that? Number 14, if all the books in the New York Public Library were lined up, they would stretch 8 miles. Number 15, the longest novel ever written is In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust with over 1.2 million words. And I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. That's a lot of words. Number 16, the first book ever printed was the Gutenberg Bible in 1455. Number 17, J.K. Rowling is the first billionaire author thanks to the success of the Harry Potter series. And number 18, Charles Dickens was paid by the word, which is why many of his books are so lengthy. Now, something funny about J.K. Rowling, and I wish I would have saved that post. So speaking of like authors receiving negative criticism, somebody posted, and I don't know where they posted this, that they hated all of her books, the Harry Potter series, that they were trash, that they are roasting marshmallows over them while they burn them. That's dramatic and extreme. But J.K. Rowling, I think they tweeted it to her. J.K. Rowling came back with like the most perfect response. She said, I get paid either way, whether you read them or burn them, so enjoy your marshmallows. Burn, right? Like, why would you say that to an author? Why would you even entertain that idea? Why would you put that bad karma out into the universe? Okay. Wow, this video is 45 minutes so far. All right, so the last saved post that no, it's not the last one. It's not. 2 more, and I promise that is it. Okay. This one is about being 50. At 50, this is by Ruth Parker. This is who wrote this. At 50, you can no longer bear the constraints. You can't stand the too tight bra, the forced dinners with the sister-in-law who checks your dust in the corners, high heels, and circumcising smiles. At 50, you have no desire to prove anything. Amen, sister. You are what you are, the things you've done and the things you still want to do. If others like it, fine. Otherwise, it's the same. At 50, it doesn't matter if you had children or not. You will be the mother anyway. Of your mother, of your father, of an aunt left alone, of your dog, or of a stray cat that you picked up from the street. And if all this is not there, you will be your own mother. Because over the years, you will be taught to take care of a body that you finally love, becoming more and more imperfect only in the eyes of others. Who cares if half the closet is the wrong size? The important thing is that your back does not creak too much when you stand up. At 50, you want freedom. Freedom to say no, freedom to stay in your pajamas all Sunday, freedom to feel beautiful for yourself and not for others, freedom to go it alone. Those who love you will stay at your pace, those who don't care about others at theirs. You are free to sing loudly in the car, even if people glare at you at traffic lights. Before I continue, first of all, this is by Irene Renee. That Ruth person just posted that. There is a guy that I watched on TikTok. I don't know his name, but he dances in his car at lights. So he has the camera like over here, and at traffic lights, he will roll his window down, and he's a pretty good dancer. He's putting his seat up and back. He's trying to get a reaction out of people next to him, and most of the time they just ignore him. If I saw someone doing that, I would be tempted to join in, right? I forget his channel name. I love it though. It's such a good thing to watch. Okay, you will have dreams like when you were in your 20s, and you will ask every god for time to make them come true. Again. And now, just when you have eaten half of your life in the hustle and bustle, you will find the desire to slowly taste the sugar and salt of the days that await you. I love that. Absolutely love that. All right. And the last one, I promise. This is about marriage. And this would actually be something good to read, like if you had to stand up at a wedding reception and say something. This is from the page called Her View from Home. And Carolyn Moore is somebody who wrote this. What they don't tell you when you stand at an altar on a lovey-dovey afternoon in fancy outfits is that marriage on paper is about commitment and fidelity. But marriage in practice is about sacrifice and starting over. Even when you're tired, even when you're angry, even when you don't feel like it, especially then. You wake up at 3 a.m. to a snoring spouse and jab his side so he rolls over. An interruption he doesn't remember in the morning, but you definitely do. Start over. You glance down at the gas gauge in your car and realize sometime in the last 24 hours, despite the tense words you exchanged over nothing in the same time frame, he filled it for you just because. Start over. You turn dress socks and t-shirts right side out as you fish them out from underneath the bed and toss them onto the growing laundry pile that never seems to be conquered. Start over. You hear him reading a story in the other room at bedtime, making the silly monster voice that dissolves your daughters into puddles of giggles, the kind of deep down to your toes laughter you don't show him nearly enough these days. Start over. You put away yet another pair of size 12 shoes that always seem to be cluttering up the "didn't I just clean this front hall?" The ones that track in sand and dirt and the heavy load of responsibility he shoulders for your family quietly. Start over. That one for me, it seems like as soon as I clean the stovetop, Bill spills something on it when he's cooking. But he's cooking. He's cooking our meals. So I don't Okay, you mess it up as much as you want. And you learn somewhere in the minutia of married life that this partner you promised forever isn't perfect. You realize how flawed and finicky and utterly selfish you are too. So you start over again and again, day after day, for now and forever, until death do you part. It's true what they say, marriage can be hard work, but it's humble and holy and beautiful too. In the spaces between the picture-perfect moments and the memories that weave together a lifetime, stand two imperfect people who choose, sometimes even without knowing, to start over, and it can make all the difference. And you know, I have always said that I don't need Bill. I choose to be with him. I choose. You wake up every day and you choose your partner over and over and over again, because trust me when I say that, you know, that all-encompassing, all-consuming love and affection you have for each other in the very beginning, it changes. It changes over decades. I mean, how can it not? But it can evolve into something amazing and beautiful. I mean, I can't imagine my life without Bill, but I mean, there's going to come a point in time that one of us is not going to be on this earth, right? So you wake up every day and you choose your partner. Yes. Okay. So I hope that's all I have to share. And this video is almost an hour. It has been a hot minute since I have done a video that long. I hope you enjoyed everything I had to share. I hope you're all having a good week. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.